Hi, this is Guy Garibay, and today I'm going to do a channel-specific video. This is not about Dungeons & Dragons. If you're here for my awesome Dungeons & Dragons content, you only got to wait an hour or two because another video will go up by then. It doesn't take long. I put up a lot of content. This is just for people who might be D&D commentators themselves, and this is for people who comment on my videos to give me advice. And I just wanted to explain something. And I also put it here so that when people give me this advice in the future, I can just give them the link to this video and then and I don't have to have the conversation in the comments 100 times. All right, so I've been hearing a lot on my in the comments on my shorts and on my it mostly happens on my shorts, right? And I just want to take a minute and say thank you to everyone out there who comments on my shorts. That's awesome. Like, a lot of people don't take the time to engage, but I get I'm getting more and more conversation, real conversations, pretty incredible conversations with people who are commenting on my shorts. And I am so thankful for that. If you've ever commented on one of my shorts, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right. So I get people who come up on the comments and they go, Scott, they're like, I'll give them the different ways. They're like, bro, back up. Camera's too close to your face, right? I get it all the time. And other people are like, yo, you got to back up, man. Nobody wants that up nose shot, right? Like, it's a whole thing, right? I get it all the time. All right, so let me explain something, all right? It ain't gonna change, right? And the reality is I'm extremely aware of the low production quality of my channel. And I'm telling you right now, it is not going to change, right? And I appreciate that you're giving me the advice, right? Because I know you mean it well, right? But I need to explain it. So I'm gonna explain to you today why I shove my face straight up to the camera, right? And why am I gonna take the time to even tell you this? Well, the reality is, I think I'm doing something that ain't nobody in the world ever done before, right? I'm truly a passionate champion of Dungeons & Dragons. And I am championing Dungeons & Dragons because I love it, right? A lot of YouTube channels make a lot of money. Do they do it because because a lot of D&D channels make money. Actually, almost none of them make good money, right? But the reality is, once you start taking that dollar, right, are you doing it for the love, or are you doing it because you actually love Dungeons & Dragons, right? Are you doing it for the money, or are you doing it for the love? And for me, that's very simple. I've never made a dime on this channel, not once, right? And I'm very proud of that, right? And I am literally an amateur, right? And so when you hear me, you are hearing my real opinion, right? There's a lot of D&D commentators who are getting a dollar here, getting a dollar there. Where are the loyalties coming from? What are you actually hearing coming out of their mouth? Are they still an independent voice? Good question, right? You know I'm an independent voice because ain't nobody bought me. I never been paid a dollar for what I do here, right? And I like it that way. I like being an independent voice, right? So why do I keep shoving my face in the camera? So first of all, it's from the limitations of my time and resources and equipment, all right? So here's the issue. I got something to say about Dungeons & Dragons, right? And I want you to hear me, right? I don't want the story to be anything else. And here's the kicker, right? If I push that camera back from my face, you're gonna see aspects of my life, right? And the second, now you're like, well, and you're like, and the reason why you're saying it is you're thinking I'm like any other producer, like any other content creator. I'm not, right? Matthew Mercer is gonna get the best lighting, right? He's gonna push that camera back. He's gonna get his best side. His ring light is gonna be set, right? That don't happen on my channel, right? And the reality is when he pulls that camera back, he has a $100,000, actually, no, he has a literally $1 million set, right? When they pull it back, all you see is set. You see a white backdrop, literally a perfect white, washed, right? Perfectly stitched white, blanket, right? If I pull the camera back, you're gonna see my life, right? And the moment you see my life, right, the story's no longer gonna be about Dungeons & Dragons. It's gonna be questions like, oh, hey, are those G.I. Joe Sigma 6 action figures? Yes, they are. But now we're not talking about Dungeons & Dragons, right? Like, The other thing is, it's going to be about the environment I'm in. It's going to be about everything else in the shot, because everything in the shot is part of the message, right? And I really want to keep the message on Dungeons and Dragons. So when I pull that camera back, there's going to be things that people are distracted by, right? And so you're going to get that up nose shot, right? You're going to get my face, and the reason why is I have limitations. I don't have a $1 million, set that is cordoned off and perfectly positioned for, for shooting in and keeping the story focused on what the camera's on, right? So yes, you are always going to get very bad production values from my channel, right? And so if you see me doing something with the camera that really no other creator does, this is why, right? Now, the reality is, if you're like, yo, man, I don't like these low production values, I get it. I totally get it, right? And that's why that's why I'm approaching 3,000 subscribers, which is a very small number. And I would have, a much wider, if I had gone pro, right? But I've seen the cost of going pro, right? You know what you got to do to go pro in this game? Burn everybody like fuel. And I've literally seen people do it, right? You would not believe the things people have sacrificed for Dungeons and Dragons commentary. You think I take this serious? Man, I've seen people burn family relationships, burn friends, burn people like fuel. It is astounding, right? And so I really, I kind of like the way I do things, right? So the reality is, I'm sorry for my low production values, but there are very real reasons for them, right? And so I'm just trying to keep the story on Dungeons and Dragons rather than on, my painting of Frodo. Because if and that's the other thing is, boy, oh boy, people catch stuff, you know what I mean? Which I get. I totally get it, right? And also, I just want to say, I am on the cutting edge of this, right? Like, I cannot tell you how blessed I am, right? I'm just some schmo in the suburbs of Philadelphia who has been able to share everything he thinks about Dungeons and Dragons. And by having people all over the world smarter than me responding back, have learned more about Dungeons and Dragons than anybody. I truly believe I am the foremost expert on Dungeons and Dragons in the world. I know more about Dungeons and Dragons because I talk about it every day. And if I'm wrong on anything, I am told immediately. I'm not like Ben Grimm scrolling down a bunch of incredibly prejudiced, misogynistic ideas about Lorraine Williams and then getting some feedback 5 years later. Like, it ain't like that, right? Like, and I do not like his book. I'm telling you right now. I think that the whole thing was a hit job on Lorraine Williams. And by his own admission, he begged her for an interview, right? She's like, I ain't talking to another one of you, middle-aged white guys who are gonna, say that I'm the reason that D&D is that I'm the worst thing that ever happened to D&D. And it is. It's just an abominable hit job on Lorraine Williams. Proposing as a historical record. It's absurd. Really don't like Ben Grimm stuff. So that's why, right? And the production values ain't gonna get better. I really feel, and people are like, well, you could do better. No, actually, you could realize I'm the cutting edge, right? I'm doing this for real love, real love of Dungeons and Dragons. It's not twisted up with the American dollar, right? I ain't doing this for the money, right? And if you look at my channel, you could see that's true, right? The proof is right there, right? And the reality is, but on the other hand, this is new. I have a decade of being able to say freely and independently, having a conversation every day about Dungeons & Dragons. And I want to be here, and I want to show how this is done for the love of it, right? 1 million people on YouTube to show you how to do it for the dollar, right? I want to show people how to do it for the love, right? And continue doing it and not stop. So that's why my face is close.